The Undertaker has given a defense of Vince McMahon and his friendship with the former WWE CEO and chairman that is absolutely weak. We're going to be discussing his comments that sparked a controversy in today's video. The Undertaker has addressed his recent appearance with Vince McMahon at the Super Bowl while appearing on Busted Open Radio with Bully Ray. Now, McMahon, who has largely been staying out of the public eye, was seen at the big event with The Undertaker and Shane McMahon. Now, keep in mind that this is an interesting appearance because Vince McMahon obviously got pushed out of his own company and is doing a legal battle right now with former employee WWE's Janelle Grant, right? She's accused him of some horrific things, the company knowing about it, John Laurinaitis, you name it. Now, on Busted Open Radio, The Undertaker explained that he was Vince McMahon's guest at the Super Bowl, and this is what he had to say. Look, I'm going to get hate for that. Listen, I don't know. People think, oh, you guys are so close, you know everything. I don't know what has been done, what hasn't been done. We don't talk about those things, right? But he is a friend of mine. Yeah, okay. The Undertaker then continued talking about how Vince McMahon gave him an opportunity to make something of his life, and the two became very good friends over the years. He's also advised people critical of continued his friendship with McMahon to get off their high horse, and this is what he had to say. So I don't know everything that has happened, what's going on. I'm not the judge in this case. I'm not the judge. There's only one judge. That's the man upstairs. He's going to give us all whatever we deserve at the end, and that's what it is. I think people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I think if you really look at your life and people who get off on their high horse and their righteousness on social media and everything, I don't have to agree with everything that people do. It doesn't change the fact that I love someone and I'm friends with somebody. It doesn't mean I'm going to do the same things, but that's the way it is. Now, the former World Heavyweight Champion, he did note that the last time that he met Vince was in Saudi Arabia right after Vince had back surgery. Now, Taker, a long time guy in the wrestling industry and in WWE, he noted that Vince looked a lot better than the last time he saw him and was more like the old Vince that he has known for years. Addressing people critical of him over the meeting, the Attitude Era star stated that he doesn't give a crap about their opinions and said, I don't conform. If you're my friend, you're my friend. Now, keep in mind that that is a god-awful argument. Like, you can be friends with someone, and you can be friends with them for a long period of time. And you know what happens sometimes? New information comes about, and that you just change your mind. I get that we live in a society in which people are accused and automatically convicted guilty of, even though that's not always how it should be, that the facts will come out later and they are backed up, and therefore the people are not convicted of whatever they are accused of. Not everyone is a monster, but not everyone is a saint. Here's the problem. The prosecutors in the Janelle Grant case, right, or the plaintiffs, I should say, not the prosecutors, because it's not federal. This is a civil lawsuit. You have little text messages of Vince texting Janelle and texting others. You have voicemails of Vince McMahon talking to Janelle and bringing up these things. There is a mountain of evidence. So at some point you have to go, hey, I appreciate everything you did. I enjoyed our friendship, but I can no longer be associated with you because I do not support your actions. I think they're horrific. I think they're god-awful, right? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So I think in that sense, I think people are loyal to a fault. And I think in this case, he is blind to the loyalty. I think he's not alone. There's been other people like, Mick Foley and Mark Henry being like, well, I don't condone his actions, but he gave so much to me and he changed my life and I'll ever be grateful for it. And then they start defending Vince and it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Now, keep in mind that The Undertaker and Vince McMahon have a long and storied history in WWE filled with intense rivalries. shocking betrayals, and unforgettable moments. And they really do. Their battles have blurred the lines between personal and professional, creating some more compelling storylines in the history of the wrestling business, especially their 2003 feud. Now, The Undertaker, he debuted at Survivor Series 1990 as the mystery partner for Ted DiBiase's team, immediately making impact and using his intimidating presence to get further over. Now, McMahon obviously was the owner of WWE, held ultimate power, and was a true visionary behind the Undertaker character in addition to Mark Calloway. Keep in mind that throughout their 10 years together, they've been in feuds or at least in alliances. In the late 90s, during the Attitude Era, The Undertaker formed the Ministry of Darkness, a sinister group that terrorized WWE. McMahon became a target, with The Undertaker even attempting to sacrifice Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon's daughter, in a disturbing ceremony. The Undertaker returned with a new American badass biker persona in 2000, and his rivalry with Vince continued. They ultimately clashed in a match over the years, including a hardcore championship match, if you believe it. Then, of course, they had the Buried Alive match at the 2003 Survivor Series, which is one of the best Vince McMahon matches you will ever see, if not his best, outside of maybe Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 22. And it was a brutal contest where the loser had to be buried alive. Kane ultimately interfered and helped McMahon bury The Undertaker. Over the years, their relationship has been complex, with moments of alliance and cooperation. Think about WrestleMania 32, 2016. Taker brought in, or Vince brought in Taker to go up against Shane. When Shane returned that year, they had that Hell in a Cell match at AT&T Stadium. Pretty wild stuff. But that's just how it is. Now, The Undertaker, he's often showed a ton of respect for McMahon, like I said that, and also willing to define him on television if felt necessary. This pushed and pulled a dynamic rivalry that only fueled even more. And keep in mind that Vince McMahon's and The Undertaker's relationship is complex. It's also a fascinating one. It's a story of power, respect, betrayal, and ultimately a strange kind of twisted bond. Their battles have entertained wrestling fans for decades, leaving an undeniable mark on the industry and fans in general. I just think you have to be more aware of your position. If you're The Undertaker, you have to be more aware of what you're saying, your demeanor, how you think, everything like that. Undertaker's a very interesting guy. He's an old soul. I get that. But at the end of the day, I think you have to be able to, and maybe he has done this, but it's like, look in the mirror or reflect and be like, you know what? I understand this guy did everything for me, or a lot for me, but I just can't support this anymore. I think he really, really needs to do that, because he doesn't come across in the best light when he's defending Vince McMahon and everything that Vince has been accused of. It's just not a great look, and you really need to stop it. In my opinion, you need to stop it. Hopefully, Undertaker will do that.